Hi, Eve. My name is Stephanie Melvin, and I'm actually working right now as an administrative assistant at the local university, but I'm looking to do a career pivot. And a friend of mine, Shelley, suggested that I contact you because you're a registrar, and I'm kind of interested in that field. What it takes, how you got there, and so forth. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, I know, to actually talk with me about what it takes to become a registrar.
Well, Stephanie, thank you for asking me. I feel so honored, and I'm more than happy to share what information I can with you. Um, I have been a registrar for 30 years. Let me say this. I've been in higher education for 30 years, but probably the last 20 as a registrar for both small and large public and private institutions. And I can tell you that I've had a really great journey. It was only by accident that I became a registrar. And I mean this in all sincerity. I literally went back to school and went to the student service office and asked for change because I wanted to buy a candy bar. And I walked into the office and due to some other situations, I knew the people in the office, and somebody suggested that Tom hire me while Pat was out on maternity leave. And that actually started my career in higher education. I was a temporary for a while, and then about 3 months, and then I moved into a full-time position into graduate admissions. And then from there, I worked my way up and eventually became a law registrar. And from there, went on to university registrar positions.
Well, that's an interesting way to, certainly get into the field and become a registrar and everything. While you were certainly working your way up in the process, did you have to do any like additional educational training or certification to continue?
What I did, there are trainings and different things that you can do to gain your skills. But in this particular case, the way I learned was strictly on the job, and then sought that professional development outside in professional organizations such as ACRO, which is the Registrar and Admissions Officers Professional Organization. But I was so very fortunate in my career to have mentors and people that were willing to help and show me and teach me things.
Oh, okay. Can you possibly tell me what a typical day would be like for a registrar?
Yeah, traditionally I'm the first one in the office, like to get things opened up, get the day started, have a little quiet time before other people come in. And the one thing that my day looks like is a lot of back to back meetings. So you're looking for some quiet times, whether it's at the beginning of the day, maybe at lunchtime, or at the end of the day, maybe an evening or weekend as well, where you're getting caught up on your actual work. Or if you're leading a project, maybe doing some project work. It's not a straight Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 type of job. Depending on the size of your school, you will work quite a bit.
Well, it definitely sounds like it. Were there any challenges you faced working as a registrar?
Yes. One of the most difficult things I found is when you're supervising a large team, trying to make sure that everybody is getting from their position or the experiences that they wanted while working in the office. And that was hard to do, to make sure that everybody was satisfied at all times. And of course, it couldn't be 100% at all times, but just trying to make sure at least 80% of the people were satisfied, providing them with professional growth and development opportunities, trying to be creative when it came to that. That wasn't actually a challenge. That was actually a kind of a passion to try to do that. But I had some people that were very disgruntled at times, and they just never seemed to be able to work through some of that. So that's always a little discouraging. making sure that the registrar was being heard, that the concerns of the office when maybe there was a new system being implemented or some new policies and procedures, and making sure I could get in there and have my voice heard on behalf of the department as well.
Okay. What was your most favorite thing or favorite part of the job?
I would say the people. So it's kind of a tit for tat type of thing. Really enjoyed the folks that I worked with. When you're working in a university setting, everybody has that one goal, and that's making sure that these students are successful. So working with a great group of people with a great mission, and probably the biggest purpose that I felt I had was to be able to grow and develop my team members and to see them move on to become the University of Hawaii's registrar or become a registrar for Marymount. I gave an opportunity to a group of women who then became technical writers for Lowe's and Home Depot. So it's just been a great experience to see people go above and beyond even what I accomplished in my career. And I know that they're going to keep growing.
Okay. Would you say becoming a registrar is something that anyone can do? Or does it take a special kind of person to perhaps do that job?
Yeah, good question. So again, growing up, you don't hear little boys or little girls talking about, I want to be a registrar. It's just, we come into this profession from all different avenues. But I would say that the person needs to make sure that they have great leadership qualities, because again, you're part of a bigger system and you want to make sure that your team is recognized. You want to be able to lead your team well in a larger organization, but be a good representation for the university as well. So good leadership skills, good communication skills are vital, because you are talking to so many different people, whether it be alums, whether it be faculty members who sometimes have a different focus than the administrative work. Being able to speak with students and being able to speak with a large range of students, as a matter of fact, from your straight out of high school to your adult students. So I would consider communication as being something that's vitally important. Being able to understand policy and procedure and being able to write one, understanding the risk management that might be involved with some of that. So that would be another strength that I think a good registrar needs to have.
Can you explain a little more about the risk management? Because I mean, you're dealing with records and everything. So what would that entail?
Right. So as a registrar, you are the custodian of the student's records. So you have to ensure the privacy of those records. You have to ensure that any systems that you're using are not inadvertently allowing personally identifiable information from getting out to areas that should not be. So in other words, outside of the university or to people that do not have a need to know. So that's really important, making sure that you're destroying records on schedule, because anything that's not destroyed based on your policy can be subpoenaed. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. If you still have paper records, and I know some offices still do, you want to make sure that you're properly disposing of them. Other risks, you want to make sure that, for example, you're taking into consideration everybody's concern, because the registrar really is the hub for the university. So you want to make sure that you're considering your faculty, your staff, and your administration when you're making decisions.
Well, it sounds like a lot of responsibility.
It is, but I can just tell you it's one of the most rewarding jobs that you will ever have.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm an administrative assistant, but I'm kind of frustrated because I feel like I'm not going anywhere. But I enjoy being in the higher education atmosphere. And I do like working with the students that I encounter from time to time. Can you perhaps give me some suggestions of what next steps I might need to take in becoming a registrar?
Um, I think any registrar's office is always looking for somebody who's engaging students, who has a great personality, and you could start maybe in the front office where you're student facing, or there could even be positions for you in the back offices, maybe a little less student facing, but you might be able to work in the transcript area. Residency is an area where we're always looking for really good, thoughtful, organized people to determine reciprocities. Those would be areas, maybe even degree audit, making sure the student has everything that they need to graduate. Those might be areas that you could start in.
Okay. You've certainly given me a lot to think about, and it looks like I need to do a little more research, but it sounds like it's possibly a pathway that I'm definitely interested in. Any more suggestions?
Say that if you decide to go forward with this, I have other individuals I can put you in touch with. Would be happy to share their names so that you can reach out to them and maybe have coffee with them as well. And now that we're all going back to the office after COVID, I think some in-person meetings would be lovely for you to have. So let me know how I can help support you on your quest, and happy to make those virtual connections for you.
Okay, well, that sounds great. And thank you so much for the offer of help. And also taking your time to talk with me about what you do as a registrar. And certainly, please let me know if there's anything that I can do to help you, perhaps on,
Yep.
a project or, looking at other particular interests that you may have in mind. But again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate that offer. And I will take you up on it if I think of something. I want to wish
Okay.
you the best in your research.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you again for your time and have a great day.
Thank you. You do as well. Bye-bye.